really cool. Here's a couple more. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over the 2020 Veloster N. So as always, a huge shout out and thank you to the Ken Garff Hyundai here in Southtown, Utah for providing us with the Veloster. Check out the inventory in the link below if you're in the market for a Hyundai or Genesis. Let's just get right into it. Under the hood of the Veloster N, we have a 2-liter 4-cylinder that's paired to a twin scroll turbocharger. Now normally it puts out 250 horsepower. This one has the performance package, so it has 275 horsepower, 260 pound-feet of torque. That's through a 6-speed manual transmission. Fuel economy is 22 around town and then 29 on the highway. And then in terms of the 0 to 60 time, it's about 5.5 seconds. Now let's go over the front end on the Veloster. And so first and foremost, notice that the hood looks like just any other Veloster, and so do the headlights, so that is all pretty much unchanged. Now the biggest changes you can notice are down in this area. So notice that you do get a front splitter, and I love the red accenting on it just from like a design standpoint, but that is going to help with aerodynamics and downforce. And then there is kind of like a little slit through that actually lets airflow go through. Again, that's going to help out with aerodynamics on the car. But yeah, the front end, just compared to like even a regular Veloster, looks so much more aggressive, and I just love all of like the little active bits on it. Now coming around to the side here, we've got two 35mm tires on 19-inch rims, and then in terms of the rotors, it's 13.6 inches in the front, 12.4 inches in the back. The reason I'm mentioning this is obviously it's a performance car. You do get a limited slip differential as well, torque vectoring, and then there is reinforcement underneath just to make this car stiffer overall. And I mention this because we're kind of at the side of the car, but I love the side skirt again and the red accenting on the side. And then you notice on this side you can see the third door since it is a Veloster, and then you got like the black accenting and all that. But yeah, I think just like everything in general from like a design standpoint is cool, and then it's cool they have those like performance upgrades. But let me kind of take a step back so you guys can get like a full view. Here's the key fob for the Veloster N. Notice that you've got your lock at the top, you've got the unlock in the middle, and then the release for the hatch at the bottom. And then you do have a little N on the back of the key fob, which I think is pretty neat. It's actually really nice feeling key fob in general, but we're gonna hold this down so that we can open up the back. Another way to open up the back is there's a little button right there under the windshield wiper, and then that'll pop open the hatch. Notice that you do get a cargo cover already built in, and then it does say Veloster N right here on the little mat, and then you've got like all the owner's manuals, all that kind of stuff. Now here at the very kind of like bottom underneath all this, you can pick this up, and then notice you get some extra storage, fix a flat kit, all that kind of stuff in that little area. So yeah, in terms of cargo volume, I mean, it's a smaller size car, but I like how the opening's really big, and so it's actually pretty practical. Now let's finish things up in the rear. So you've got the Veloster badge, all that regular stuff. I really like the taillights in the back. They kind of have these little like shapes in the middle of them. Pretty neat little look. And then yeah, you got some carbon fiber there on the side of the spoiler that's on the top of the hatch. And then look at the exhaust tips. I mean, they are just absolutely massive for this car. They get more red accenting and the rear diffuser at the bottom. But yeah, overall, the rear end is pretty cool looking. Now opening up the back right here will reveal the door on the rear. And again, this is a 3-door car. You got to remember that. You actually get a little bit of padding here for the rear passenger, and you got a little door handle right on that part. And then coming over here, look at the seat belts. I love the blue coloration on it, and they actually continue that into the stitching on the seats. But here what the seats look like in the back, and well, just for video's sake, I will stuff myself back into here, and it sucks getting in, but once you're in, it's actually pretty comfortable. So you get a couple cup holders here. I'm 5'11", and I actually have a good amount of legroom, and I mean, when I sit like all the way up, I'm kind of touching the top, but it's actually pretty good at like, it's actually pretty comfortable back here. I'm surprised. It's like, it's roomy. Now coming to the front, we do have keyless entry. So one touch to lock it, and then you have to press it again, and that's what will unlock it. Now opening up the door here on the Veloster, here's the door panel at the front. So again, you've got like this padding where you can rest your arm, the door handle again, all of your window controls, and then here are the seats at the front. So again, they're cloth seats, but they've got that blue stitching on them. They've got the little N logo right there. They've got really nice bolsters, and again, you get the cool little blue seat belt. And then you've got the adjustments for the seat. It is manually adjustable. They actually did a really good job on the pedals. They made them look really premium in this Veloster N. Steering wheel is manually adjustable, and yeah, there is pretty much your look before we pop in. Now to start up the Veloster N, you have to push the clutch in, and then you can push the push start, And you'll do this whole system check thing, everything will pop on and you're good to go. Here's the steering wheel in the Veloster N. So you've got like grippier leather where you're gonna grab it, and then smoother leather at the top and at the bottom. A little N logo at the very bottom, which I think is pretty neat. In terms of the overall look of the steering wheel, I think it's a pretty cool design. And you do have like your cruise control on this side and the pages button, all that kind of stuff. On the other side, you've got your phone controls, volume controls, and then you've got your drive modes. And then you've got the N mode, race mode, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, that is the steering wheel. Here are the gauges in the Veloster. You've got the RPMs on the left side. Notice again, you've got an N logo. I mean, the N logos are all over this car. You got the speed over on the right side, and then you got that little center part, which just gives you different bits of information on the car itself. Pretty straightforward. Now that drive modes button, if I press that button, notice you have 3 different drive modes. You've got the Sport, the Eco, and the normal, and you can actually hear a difference in the exhaust tone. It actually opens up a valve, which when I show you guys the exhaust clip a little bit later in the video, I'll just kind of go through the modes several times so you can kind of hear the difference. And then you do have the last drive modes, which is that N mode, and then also with the custom, and this is basically kind of like your full-on race car mode. Here's our infotainment system, and I'm gonna pop it in reverse so you guys can see what the camera looks like. So you've got the little trajectory lines on the camera. I mean, it's a really small car, so you don't really need a ton of cameras on it, but pretty easy to use from there. Now with the rest of the infotainment system, I actually really like it. So you've got like the all menus button, and it does come with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay from the factory. We'll get into the N mode in just a second, but you guys can see response time on it is really solid. Now, if you're wondering what the N mode is, you press that and it basically shows you different things. So you can do like a performance timer, you can see your G-forces, all that kind of stuff. You can see how much power. So like if I lightly press the throttle, notice that you can see the torque go up just a little bit. So yeah, pretty neat little thing, and I like the infotainment system in general. Just down below the infotainment system, you've got all the analog buttons for like the radio, phone, all that kind of stuff. And then you have the climate controls. It is a single zone climate in the Veloster. Just down below that, you've got a 12-volt and then a little USB, another USB, and an auxiliary port. And then you can use this for storage right there. Now this is the shifter for that 6-speed manual, and notice that they give you the gears right here on top. In terms of the feel of it, it's actually really notchy. Goes into gear really easily. Obviously, I'll talk about it a little bit more when we drive. Reverse is just up and over, but yeah, in terms of like the feel of the shifter, I like the feel of it, and I like the feel of the throws so far. The stability control button right here, which is super important because anyone that buys this car is probably gonna have that off all the time. Couple cup holders, and then you do get a traditional little e-brake, and then here is the center console. You can see that it's got a decent amount of storage space in there, no charging ports or anything like that. And then finishing things up over here, we've got the glove box, which pretty normal size for this car. I actually like this trim they do up above. It's kind of like this texture trim. Definitely has a cool little look to it. Up here we've got the sunglass holder, and then you do have the lights, which you just press them to turn them on or off. Pretty straightforward. No sunroof or anything like that. I mean, you're not going to have that in a performance car like this. You're going to want to keep the center of gravity low, so that's everything for the top. Quickly get into the pricing on the Veloster N. So this particular Veloster N, stickers for about $30,000 with a performance package, everything that it has before any type of market adjustment. That all being said though, let's take this Veloster N out and see how she drives. Let's talk about visibility in the Veloster N before we set off. So visibility over the hood is actually really good. It just kind of goes boop right down, so really solid there. There's visibility through the mirror, and they kind of give you like a little convex mirror there on the side. There's your visibility through the passenger side mirror, and then here's the visibility all throughout the rear, which a little bit on the cramped side for visibility, but it's not bad by any means. That all being said though, let's set off. We are setting off here in the 2020 Veloster N, and let's first talk about the road noise and the ride quality. So first off, in terms of the ride quality, This is actually a lot smoother than I was initially expecting. I was expecting this to ride pretty rough since it's a more performance-oriented car. And again, I'm in the normal mode right now, and it's riding really smooth, and there's not a whole lot of noise that comes through into the cabin either. Like, this actually is really solid. Like, it's a really comfortable car to drive. Now, I know what you guys all want to see is me go into the sport mode. So sitting here in the sport mode now, ooh, the rev matches. It actually rev matches really well in the sport mode, but we're gonna get our little acceleration here in the sport mode and kind of just see how that goes. Well, it's got like a little shift light. That's pretty cool. So it has a little shift light that tells you what to do. In terms of the gearing is really solid with the ratios that it has. I mean, it's just right where it should be. And then I'm gonna put it into the N mode as well, kind of see if it drives any differently in that. But with the shifter itself, it's really easy to get it into gear. The clutch is perfect. It's not too heavy, but it's not like overly light where you can't feel anything. You still do get a good amount of clutch feel as well. And the acceleration feels strong on this. It feels very adequate. Oh, so it actually has auto blip. I didn't realize that. So when you're in the N mode, it auto blip rev matches. And I don't know if you guys could hear like the little like popples out of the exhaust. I'll try to get a little more of those for you guys so you can hear. That sounds really cool. Here's a couple more. It kind of sounds like gunfire. That's pretty neat. Wow, that is fun. But yeah, it will automatically rev match for you in this N mode. It's perfect. Like, it is absolutely perfect. So I love auto rev match systems like that. Now, I know that it takes out a little bit of driver involvement, but I mean, think about it. When you're on the track, you already have so many things you're having to worry about. So if you have one less thing that you have to worry about, super solid. And that'll get me into summing things up on this Veloster N. So if you're looking for a fun, like, daily drivable performance car that has some fun sounds, just saying, like, those pops are so fun. But yeah, if you want like a daily driver car that sounds really cool, is fun to drive, all that kind of stuff, then this Veloster N definitely is in that. It has a good amount of power, 275 horsepower. And again, it's just a fun car. Like, it's fun to drive, and it just like kind of has like this small zippy feel to it. And overall, I mean, $30,000 roughly. This is actually a really good value. It comes with a ton of cool tech for like a performance-oriented car. And so, yeah, if you're in the market for something like this, I would definitely recommend checking out this Veloster N. It's awesome. And there we have it, everyone, the 2020 Veloster N. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Ken Garff Hyundai here in Southtown, Utah for providing us with the Veloster. Check out the inventory in the link below if you're in the market for a new Hyundai or Genesis. I'll see all of you in the next video.